Israel might be controlling your favorite influencer. Here's how you spot them. When Benjamin Netanyahu came to DC to meet with Trump, most of the attention was focused on their plans for Gaza. What completely flew under the radar is that Benjamin Netanyahu had another meeting where he met with a group of conservative influencers. The group included podcasters Tim Pool, Dave Rubin, and Sean Spicer, and writers Bethany Mandel, David Harris Jr., Jessica Krause, Seth Mandel, and Molly Hemingway. Some of the people on this list have several millions of followers, and they were meeting not just with Israel's head of state, but also his diplomatic advisor and the Israeli ambassador to the United States. There are no videos or direct quotes from the meeting because it was conducted under Chatham House rules, which is basically a rule set for meetings in elite circles where the people attending, especially journalists, meet on the basis that nothing said in the meeting can be directly attributed to any individual, and that you can only say what was generally talked about. Some of the topics covered include Iran and anti-Zionist sentiment online. While we don't know for sure everything that was discussed, it's hard to imagine that Netanyahu convened influencers for any other reason than to try to convince them to be propagandists for Israel. So is there any evidence of Israel manipulating online spaces to change public opinion? Yes. In fact, it's a stated position of the Israeli Foreign Ministry. Just 3 days after October 7th, Israel launched an initiative to recruit social media influencers in the United States to defend Israel. A spokesperson said, "Fighting on social networks and influencing international public opinion is critical during wartime. The world must understand that Israel's struggle is one of light against darkness, a life-loving culture versus lowly terrorists." It's obvious why Israel needs propaganda. The only way to have a country based on legalized racial supremacy is through propaganda, like Nazi Germany and Jim Crow apartheid had, that twists the reality of the situation. And Israel actually has its own word for propaganda, which is Hasbara, which translates to explain in Hebrew. In the weeks following October 7th, Israel already had a lot to explain. A number of American influencers got emails offering them $5,000 and brand sponsorships in exchange for doing a single live stream supporting Israel. The email read, "I'm reaching out to you on behalf of a global collective of agencies, influencers, and content creators who are coming together to raise awareness about the difficult situation in Israel. As you're aware, the people of Israel are currently fighting not just a war against Hamas terrorism at home, but also in the battle to tell the story to the world." There's no telling who organized this collective of agencies or who they were, but it's clear that recruiting influencers is one of the central chosen tactics of the Israeli Hasbara machine. The reason influencers are so important is because influencer-based marketing is much more subtle than an ad in a fixed programming slot where you know you're being sold something. A lot of this work is done by a network of privately funded NGOs. This is because if you have the Israeli government paying influencers, that looks bad. But if the Israeli government gets 100 different NGOs to do the same thing, it gives the illusion that it's not coordinated by a state. Take Yalla Israel, for example, a non-profit organization dedicated to flying VIP influencers, meaning people with 3 million or more online followers, out to Israel on an all-expenses-paid vacation where they go swimming and dancing and shopping and out to restaurants. Many of the people that go on this trip don't know anything about Israel and have never posted about it. They're being taken under the guise of discovering Israel, which might sound innocuous, but the way the trips work is that you're being showered with these gifts and fancy dinners and beach trips without any mention of how the Palestinians are treated, and then the organizers tell you about how there are these people out there called Palestinians who hate Jews and want to destroy Israel and all the wonderful things you're experiencing on this trip so far. Then the organizers coach you on how to post about Israel and how to deal with the anti-Semites, meaning people who oppose genocide, in the comments. Yola Israel closely monitors how much their influencers post, and they report that the average person that takes one of their trips makes 100 posts about Israel while they're on the trip. Even though the group is an ostensibly small non-government organization, the trips are funded by the Zionist mega-donor group, the Adelson Family Foundation, and the director of the group itself is an American-born woman named Sarah Granoff, who formerly served as an IDF spokeswoman and speechwriter for Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon. There are several other nearly identical organizations like Vibe Israel, BZ Media, Sharaka, which focuses specifically on bringing delegations from Arab and Muslim countries, Is Really Cool, which tries to highlight the stories of converted anti-Semites, Hasbara Fellowships, which targets students, and so on. Major Zionist organizations like the Jewish National Fund, Stand With Us, and the American Jewish Committee have also started their own influencer programs. The Israeli government is also just hiring PR firms that do influencer-based marketing to do marketing for Israel. Here's a Spanish firm with no ostensible pro-Israel bias that was hired by the Israeli Ministry of Tourism to bring 2 gay influencers to Tel Aviv to, quote, present Israel as a gay-friendly destination, focusing on the Tel Aviv Gay Pride Parade, one of the world's most important gay-themed festivals. Here's another PR firm that pays influencers to post pre-written messages with Israeli talking points. One of the biggest targets for Israel is Christian evangelicals. Influencer trips for evangelical influencers have skyrocketed and have been organized by groups like the Maccabee Task Force. Israel sees evangelicals not only as an important demographic for shoring up support in America, but also for giving the illusion that Israel's land theft has some kind of biblical history to it. An article in the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, written about some of the groups involved in these Christian influencer trips, featured quotes from American pastors saying that Jewish people were chosen by God and that Palestine was promised to them. Groups like Israel 365 Media do this on the domestic front, paying Christian influencers to tell their audiences that Christians have a biblical mandate to support Israel. They work with media outlets like TBN, the world's largest Christian TV network, and Prager University, a major conservative online media outlet followed by many Christian Americans. One thing worth noting in regards to the scope of this effort is that all students that go through the Israeli school system are required to take a course on Hasbara in combating criticism of Israel online. The Israeli Foreign Ministry is also training influencers to defend Israel online. These influencers, who collectively have tens of millions of followers, are invited to special training camps where they're coached on how to rebut pro-Palestine talking points and get a direct line of contact to the Israeli government on a constant and emergency basis. But the most egregious part of Israel's online strategy is its use of fake bot accounts that spam pro-Israel comments and posts online. An investigation by the Al Jazeera Media Institute revealed hundreds of accounts created shortly after October 7th with around 50 to 100 followers pretending to be Arabs and constantly posting comments criticizing the Palestinians, regional resistance groups, and Iran. These accounts would mainly target pages that were popular in the Arab and Muslim world like Al Jazeera and TRT. Their comments would mainly blame the Palestinians for the destruction they're facing and portray them as beggars who were ungrateful for the aid they were getting from other Arab countries. These accounts would also start dialogues with each other, where one fake account would post a comment and another fake account would respond, which indicates that they aren't individual accounts, but that they're part of an organized effort. No one took responsibility for this, but Israel has admitted to using bot farms in the past. During Israel's massacre against Gaza in 2021, the Israeli army used bots to promote a hashtag, Gaza Regrets, to try to rally support for Israel's war. And while the military admitted it was using fake accounts and even apologized for it, the Israeli government continues to employ people to defend Israel online and pledge to target teenagers in its next online campaign. While this video doesn't cover the full extent of Israel's manipulation online, much of which we have to assume has yet to be uncovered, we hope that this helps you know what signs to look for. The Trump administration and the Israel lobby have launched a concerted effort outlined in the Heritage Foundation's Project Esther proposal to smear the Palestine movement as an inorganic movement that's being propped up by foreign actors. But it's actually Israel that's carrying out the real foreign influence campaign to try to run cover for its genocide. This year, Israel has increased its propaganda budget 20-fold to a whopping $150 million. That money's all going somewhere, meaning we're likely going to see more pro-Israel bot comments and more covertly paid influencer messaging coming from the pro-Israel side. Israel's trying to confuse online audiences by flooding their timelines with paid propaganda, but that's unlikely to change much. Israel's genocide in Gaza has led to an unprecedented decline in public opinion towards the country, and some polls show that it's now the most hated country in the world. Spamming people with canned talking points and sponsored content isn't gonna change that.